At our core, we're a logistics technology company obsessed with automating the full truckload shipment cycle. 50%, and we operate as a digital freight broker under this umbrella. 50% of our staff are engineers and data scientists. We were talking about talent a second ago. Our head of data science is he's not 25, he's closer to 35, but he's a PhD of Caltech, and he won the silver medal in the Math Olympics 15 years ago, to put it into perspective. And our ability to develop that type of, we have people from MIT, we've had a lot of people from Georgia Tech. Actually, I'm a Georgia Tech undergrad, so I'm a little bit biased on this, but retaining and recruiting that type of talent is something that is very important that allows us to do this. Now, how we do it is by efficiently connecting shippers and carriers. It's a data problem. It's a data aggregation and adoption problem. And as you're able to do that, and your engineers are able to sanitize the data and delight your customer, we're able to provide that instant pricing and booking capability nationwide. So everybody here talks about like we have shortage of drivers and capacity and all these things. Well, we solve that via technology where with one click, you just say New York, Atlanta, and you get a price immediately, and it's bookable. This is our mobile device. You can do it on the mobile. When we did it with Daimler, we first start on the web, which is something like you see over here. It's not that dissimilar how you book a flight on Orbitz or Kayak. So think about going from Atlanta to Miami. I click a button and I get a price. It's very similar over here. We started like that with all of our customers. And as we get more comfortable, what usually happens is it's fine if you want to book 1 or 2 shipments on a web portal. But if you want to book 1,000, that you can't. Imagine you booking 1,000 flights on Orbitz or Kayak. You would go crazy. It's not scalable, right? So at that point in time, when you're larger, you obviously have a TMS integration, which is what we've done. And effectively, that TMS talks to our server, gets a price immediately, programmatically in seconds, and then that observer or that load planner resides in that TMS and then observes it. Now, even more advanced, when you continue, is you're able to actually remove that person by creating some, inserting some engineering and AI there to remove that human where the server to server make that decision on their own. And that gets you to that 1 minute type of full process flow, full journey. Now, specifically on Daimler, like Ivan mentioned, we literally went from 5 hours to 18 minutes of that procurement of that spot shipment. And the reason that we can do that is because that resides on top of that instant pricing and booking capability for all lanes in the United States. And once again, we increased that usage that Ivan was mentioning from that 50 to that 75%. That's really important to us in order to reward those underlying motor carriers. And lastly, that customized one-click digital acceptance, similar to Amazon, where you say one-click booking. Like imagine that on the business-to-business side, but instead of moving like one book or a $30 order, you're actually putting $80,000, $250,000 worth of cargo, and with one click, you accept it. Something on Daimler that I'll mention, in order for these partnerships to work, you need the right partner on the other side. You need to invest in it. It's not free. What you put into it is what you get out of it, meaning that if you just treat it as a vendor, you're not going to get the most out of it. But if you iterate every week, you improve. And with that, I mean, we didn't get to 5 hours to 18 hours to 18 minutes in 1 week. We didn't get that in 2 weeks. Like that was iterative, and through a process, we went from 5 hours to 3 hours to 2 hours, and we get to 18 minutes. And now we're actually faster than that. And when you have the right partner that is tech forward, that is open and willing to share that data and push the organization, because these are organizations that don't have 1,000 or 2,000 people. These are organizations with hundreds of thousands of people. I know that Daimler has 278,000 employees. So in order to get that through the organization, it takes time, and you need that willingness. So you need to iterate quickly, and that allowed us to accomplish that goal. It was a challenge. It's great. Here's in 100 days you have to do it, and we did it in 80 days, and we're proud of our ability to do that. But it's really key to get the right partner on the other side. We do have some clients that I won't mention that are just not like that and do not have that tech forward mentality, and that's fine, but we're not that close to what their problem is because they don't want to iterate through that, so we can't have that impact like the ones that do share that data with us. Lastly, I'm just going to mention on network layering, and Specifically on network layering is an additional benefit when you, similar to what we're talking over here, it's just sharing the data. So we sit in between shippers and motor carriers. More of them feel comfortable with sharing that underlying data. Here you have an example of 3 different shippers where you can start triangulating because no shipper does the same lane for obvious reasons. But as you overlay all this data, then you can optimize these routes and then you can rebalance that underlying network. Currently, no motor carrier has more visibility on more than 1% of the total Class 8 trucks out there. But if you're able to aggregate all this data and overlay these networks, then you can rebalance that network and it becomes more efficient for absolutely everybody. Now, the challenge is that unlike on the OEM side where it's concentrated, right? You have 5, 10 of them that will control most of the market. On the motor carrier side specifically, it's exceptionally fragmented, right? 90% of all motor carriers have 6 trucks or less. And on the shipper side, it's also very fragmented. So let me just close with some visualization of what network layering means. This is one shipper that is really based in Tennessee. And you can see these are the shipments that we've done for them very, very recently. And then you see another shipper that is out in Colorado. And you don't see a lot of triangulation. I mean, some limited one. But then you overlay shipper B. And now you start seeing some triangulation between North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee. And then you have another one. And OK, you start seeing a little bit. And these are small and medium sized. We're not talking about the enterprise guys. And then you have one that is bi-coastal going, California to New Jersey in the Northeast. And then you start getting the enterprise. And then you keep on going. And then you keep on going. And that's what you have. When you have that, the biggest challenge, once again, is a data aggregation problem that not everybody's sharing all that data or feel comfortable with that data, and you have large organizations that they have too much layers to provide that. But I'm here to encourage you to do that because once you do that, you get these network effects, and you will find that, or make it easier for us to aggregate that and give you that underlying capacity. And this is what powers our instant pricing and capability today. You don't even have to sign up. You go to loadsmart.com, New York, Atlanta, and you'll get a price at that point in time.